Hello, Dean again. Another video diary, which I haven't done for multiple days. Got really busy last week. Homeschooling and other obligations just took over. My daughter decided sleep is again an optional extra rather than a biological necessity. It applies for all of us, not just her. So, it's kind of hard to be upbeat enough to present a decent video for half dozens of listeners and viewers, and then it just kind of the motivation's not there. Plus, it's not a priority. Won't lie. This isn't something I do for serious income. But it's been essentially uneventful. Nothing's changed since I last did one of these. Haven't gone far because it's not allowed. Rates coming down in COVID in the local area, and cases are declining. The lockdown's working, so you don't really object to that. But, it's still monotonous. Days monotonous, so you try and fill them, don't you? All the stuff happens online now, doesn't it? So, that's just how we engage the wider world. I do quite find it fascinating, intriguing, kind of amusing how, it was only maybe a year ago, perhaps even sooner than that, that you still had regular, opinion pieces in the paper or like scaremongering stories, how social media is ruining our brains and destroying the youth and things like that. Not that that's completely without merit. There are some concerns, a lot of concerns as to what effect social media has on mental health and development and stuff. I think, it's easy to say we don't know the long-term effects of them yet because it's such a new technology. There hasn't been a long-term. We haven't had someone grow up with social media and then enter late adulthood and see what happens to them, because the people who grow up with social media, in their 20s now, and that's can't really say a lot then. The brain's still maturing until you're 25. So, so it's really hard to say with any certainty. But, there's a lot of scaremongering, and a lot of it wasn't with much merit, in that it was basically older people saying, this is different to what happens in the world that I like, therefore it is bad. Because what I like is correct, what differs from that is wrong. And there we have the basis of most modern political problems. So but now obviously there's less of that at the moment because social media is essentially how we all communicate. It's kind of hard to, if you're adrift at sea, you can't keep saying, oh, the lifeboats are worse for you than overall, and you start tearing it up. People will kick the crap out of you, and rightly so. So like lots of stuff's going on there, just following the political stuff, which is all awful. US stuff. I like to focus on the US stuff a bit more because it's a bit more removed. Like it's supposed good news, and random old guy is president again, but he seems more benign than the last one, and less chaotic, less demonstrably dangerous, and I'll settle for that for now. Most recent sort of big thing that happened to me was via Twitter, of course. I realized. Okay, so those who don't know, 2018, one Mr. Johann Hari published a book about depression and mental illness and how it really works, and had a big excerpt of it published in The Guardian, and I took issue with it because I think it was mostly wrong, misleading, and actively dangerous. These are my personal views on the matter, and I wrote them in The Guardian, who I was working for at the time, and there was a backlash against him because, if you don't know Johann Hari, he was a big name in the sort of 2009, 2010, that sort of time. Big interviewer, sort of very lefty, very right on. And then it emerged that he's a massive plagiarist. A lot of his work wasn't his own work. He'd taken it from others and made stuff up. And when caught out doing this, he doubled down and started attacking critics via sock puppets on Wikipedia and editing things and trying to sort of manipulate matters so he got away with it. He was well respected. He won the Orwell Prize and then ended up having to give it back. And I saw that at the time, thinking, oh, that's a terrible shame, isn't it? You shouldn't do that. Guess he's not who he thought he was, and then pretty much stopped thinking about him from then on. And then a few months before his book came out, I got approached or messaged by his publicist, presumably he was his publicist, offering me a free advance copy of it because I was in The Guardian at the time. I was the mental health guy by a lot of people's metrics, and so you might like this because it's all about depression. It's got some controversial theories, but I think you'll find them interesting. And I read that thinking, I definitely won't. Well, I'm interested in so far as I wish this hadn't happened. It shouldn't exist. And I thought, that's not good. I don't want to maybe I'm prejudging things, but I thought it'll just wind me up. It'll be a waste of a book. I ignored it. And I thought, oh, well, hopefully that'll be the last I hear of that. It was not. And come a few months later, it's published in the Guardian, big glowing reviews, and sort of big pumping him up. Also a lot of big names, really sort of plugged him, saying, "Oh, he's fixed. He solved depression. He's uncovered the mystery of it all." And it's not what medical people think at all. It's this new thing, which is the wider world. It's our experiences which make us depressed and stuff. And this is stuff that basic psychology has been teaching for nigh on 50 years now. But no, he's insisting that actually no, medics say it's all to do with chemicals, but it's not. It's all about how your life goes. Anyone who works in any mental health field will tell you that is standard practice, but that doesn't fit his narrative. So, but nobody was pushing back against it. I thought this isn't a small deal. He's not sort of arguing the pros and cons, or he's not saying I got some new theory about how agricultural tools are produced. This is those are important, but I don't think if there's an argument over the right type of plough in the mainstream media, I don't think anyone's going to suffer for that, particularly unless you make those ploughs. And again, everyone is invested in something. But this was a guy who's known to be untrustworthy, known to be manipulative of data, and known to follow unethical practices, declaring that he knows better than the entire medical field from gone so many years. He knows better than all of them about how mental health works. And the main gist of his bit was like, antidepressants are pointless. You don't need them. You should stop them right now. It's all a scam, which they aren't. It isn't. Don't ever do that. Antidepressant withdrawal, instant withdrawal, is really quite dangerous because it's a psychoactive chemical. It does stuff to you, and if it doesn't help, it's doing something to you. So just removing that new chemical from your adapted brain process is dangerous. Whether you're enjoying it or not, don't do it all in one go. Taper, slowly reduce, gradual. But that's not how it should work. And a lot of people point out he had a lot of fans and defenders. And when I started pushing back, because I thought for some reason I was the only one. I wasn't the only one. There were plenty of people pushing back against him online, by their Twitter accounts and their own blogs and stuff. He had lots of endorsements, but none from anyone who works in the mental health community, I noticed, which was a bit telling. Maybe there were some and I missed them, but the bulk of people were saying, no, this is awful. I think I got sort of singled out as the figurehead of the pushback because I was also writing for The Guardian, which was the main ones which were pushing his work. And me too, because he tweeted saying, I wrote this piece and it's gone viral. They told me mental health pieces never go viral. He tweeted this. This is a tweet of his. And I found it annoying because my whole writing career is based on my piece about mental health for The Guardian going viral. That's why I'm here. That's why anyone is interested in me talking about this. So that was a personal thing. But so he, that was basically how it went down. I pushed back and I didn't really talk at the time, but people at The Guardian tried to stop me. My editor very nicely said like, "Oh, why didn't you? I can arrange a phone call. He's a friend of mine, and I can blah blah blah. You can send you the book. You can think about it more deeply." And no, that's not how anything happens. How anything works. I did a Twitter thread about it. I'll put it in the thing below. You could read my whole story there. But I think the part which I was a bit sort of surprised at was when I thought I'll just talk about this now because I've realised I'm not from The Guardian. I don't work in The Guardian anymore, so I'm not really invested or tied to them anyway. And I can talk about this because I think that was malpractice journalistically, to promote this guy who's promoting dangerous ideas, dangerous conclusions for people who are very, very vulnerable. When he's not trustworthy. He hasn't really done anything to redeem himself in terms of all that. And he has previous with this. I think there's a violation of duty of care you have to your readers and to the vulnerable communities. And I said as much, and I did a tweet about how they tried to sort of, defend their mate because he was well in with a lot of them. Not most of The Guardian people aren't friends of his. I've had nothing but support from the vast majority of my friends of The Guardian, but there were enough there to make this a problem. They tried to change my article after I'd written it to link to his explanation of why I'm wrong on his own site. Another Guardian article. So it's all in there. So he obviously has friends in high places who were defending him at the expense of vulnerable people's safety, I personally think. And I think the part that I was surprised at, people started calling me brave for doing that, which is very flattering, but I guess I didn't see it like that. As in, I didn't think this was brave or not brave. I just think it was, both for tweeting about it and for doing it the first time round, I was apparently brave. But it didn't occur to me not to do it. I was baffled as to why other people weren't doing it. I guess, does that count as bravery? I don't think it does. It's like, you're not scared of something. Bravery is sort of facing your fears. Bravery is pushing forward beyond when you don't want to do something. I did want to do this. I thought, no, this isn't on. I got angry at people trying to stop me, and for no valid journalistic reason. But I think people can say, "No, that was very brave of you." Like, I don't think I warrant that. So it's like, I have a lot of men are really into fantasies, sexual fantasies where they dominate women and things like that and do unspeakable things to them. And I've just never found any appeal in that. It doesn't do anything for me in a sort of an arousal sense. But I don't expect to be complimented for that. It's like, I didn't choose that. I wasn't given the option when I was developing, saying, okay, do you want to be aroused by torture porn or not torture porn? I'll go for no. That doesn't sound convenient. I had no say in the matter there, so I don't want to be praised for just doing the bare minimum of how I've developed. Don't know where I'm going with that, but it's something that happened, something I'm pondering. Is it brave to do something when it doesn't occur to you not to do it? I would argue no. Other people might feel otherwise. Also, it could be the fact that I just haven't anticipated or haven't realised an obvious negative consequence of doing so. So when the obvious thing that I've completely overlooked happens to me and ruins everything, I'll do a video about that, explaining what it was and why I shouldn't have done it in the first place. So yeah, there's that.